Hi, this is Sweet June 2010. How's everybody doing this evening? Um, I've been looking at a lot of videos on YouTube and reading blogs and everything like that. And I noticed that a lot of men, particularly black men, have a problem with it's this seem like I'm seeing a lot of videos and reading a lot of things about black men apparently have a big problem with dating a woman that is collecting child support from her child's father. And I just got a big question in my mind is why. I don't understand that. I don't understand why. Like some of them say, well, I'm not going to date a woman that is collecting child support from her child's father. Um, I know women and men think differently. I know that men think differently from women and women think differently from men. Um, I know men, their thinking is different from ours. I know that men don't think like us women do. Um, and it seems like, I don't know, maybe all men stick together, or I don't know. What I don't understand is um, why would you have a problem with a woman getting support from her child's father? If a woman has a child and she's not married to that man, and the man is not voluntarily paying support for that child, then that woman has every right to collect child support from that man, because it takes two people to make a baby. And as I talked about in one of my other videos, I'm a firm believer in personal responsibility. So I believe that everybody should take responsibility for whatever it is that they do. Men and women, grown men and women, should take responsibility. And it takes two people to make a baby. Women can't make a child by themselves unless they go to the sperm bank. And even then, it takes a man's sperm, but that's a different situation. But if two people lay down and have sex and a baby is created, unprotected sex, and a baby is created, then, particularly if there's a relationship, then both people, not just the woman, have a responsibility to support that child. It's not just the woman's responsibility to take care of this child. I don't understand what the mentality is that somehow suggests that a woman is supposed to support a child by herself without the assistance of a father, you know, to helping support the child. I don't understand this mentality. I don't know if it's the new generation of men that's out now that I know, because back in the day, um, you know, men take men took great pride in providing for their families. It made them feel like a man to be able to go out and support and provide for the family. A lot of men, looked at it, as a badge of honor. They seen it as them being a real man. The more they was able to support their family, the more of a man that they felt like they were. And that's how a lot of men felt back in the day. And it seems like this generation of men have a different mentality. They seem to have the mentality that, I'm not saying all men, you know, because some men do take pride in supporting their families. But it just seems like I'm hearing a lot of videos and I'm reading a lot of blogs and everything, and where men are talking about they wouldn't date a woman that's collecting child support from their father. Well, from the child's father. Well, why wouldn't you want that child? Why is there such a big issue with a father supporting his child? Why is there such a big issue, even if it is through the court? Why is there such a big issue? That is his responsibility. That is his responsibility to take care of his child. And sometimes it has to go through the child support system. I know here in Michigan, when you have a child by a man and you're not married to that man, and you have to go seek any kind of assistance from the government. It could be child care assistance, medical, uh, food stamps. It doesn't necessarily have to be welfare. You could be working, a woman can be working and still need assistance from um, the, you know, assistance from the welfare people. You can be working because if your income is under a certain level and you're only making a certain amount of money, you still need some type of assistance, whether it be food stamps or child care assistance, or you might need Medicaid for you and the child, because a lot of jobs don't provide medical, or it's so expensive you can't afford it. So if you go down and get any type of assistance, you might just be going down there to get food stamps, or you might just be going down there to get medical or much needed child care assistance for that child, because you can't. It's virtually impossible for a single mother to work and pay bills and all that stuff and pay child care. It's it's pretty difficult. So in most cases, most single mothers have to go down and get some type of assistance. Doesn't necessarily have to be welfare, doesn't necessarily have to be cash benefits. The woman can be working and she goes down there to get food stamps or Medicaid or something like that. Here in Michigan, they have a law. If you are not married to a man and you go down there and you seek any kind of assistance from DHS, you have to report the father of your child. You have to. You don't have a choice. If you don't report him, you will not receive the assistance. Most women need that assistance for that child. And, because you got to survive some kind of way. You got to go to work and provide a roof over the child's head and, clothes and all that. So, you got to do something. You got to do something to get some type of assistance. So, most women, go ahead and do that. That is a law here in Michigan. I don't know about some of the other states, but I know here in Michigan, yeah, you have to report the child's father. You have to tell them who the child's father is. So, and then they will proceed to file child support from that father. Because they figure this is how they look at it. They figure if they're helping you with child care assistance, if they're helping you with medical, and if they're helping you with food, then that man needs to kick in and do something. Because what happens is if he pays the child support, then that's less help, that they don't have to give you as much help. And the taxpayers don't have to pay as much money. So see, this is the reason why they do it. Because if the woman can get some type of child support from the father, then that's less money that they have to give her to help her with child care or food stamps or whatever it is that she needs. So that's less money coming out of the taxpayer's pocket. So I don't know about some of the other states. I know that the state of Michigan does that. So and it's a situation to where the father is not voluntarily supporting the child. He might have walked away from that woman and the child. Then the woman has to basically do what she has to do to help support the child. I don't understand. I think that a man has a responsibility to support his child. Bottom line, he has a responsibility. And um, any man that's against a man taking responsibility for his child, to me, in my opinion, is not a real man. Because a real man, um, first of all, takes responsibility and takes care of his child. A real man don't have no problem with other men supporting their child. Furthermore, is it really any of your business if the woman is getting child support from her child's father? It's really none of your business. It's really between her and that child's father. It's at the end of the day, it's none of your business. And if she didn't collect child support from the father, what is she supposed to do? Can you answer me that question? What is she supposed to do if she doesn't collect child support from that father? Are you going to come in and help her take care of those children? Are you willing to come and in place of the father, let's say she don't file child support on the father and you're dating this woman, are you willing to come in and help her take care of those children? Are you willing to do that? If you don't want her to file child support against the father, then surely you should be willing to help her take care of those children. Because at the end of the day, child support is for the child. Child support is not for the mother. It's for the child. I think people tend to forget that in this big child support debate. They tend to forget that the child support, that's why they call it child support. That's why it's in fact called child support, because it's for the child. Now, some may debate, some may say that, well, the mother's taking it to use it for other things. But who can prove that? Who has any proof of the mother using it for other things? If the mother's providing a roof over the child's head, clothes on the child's back. Now, we do have some neglectful mothers out here, but they was going to neglect the child anyway. Regardless. If they're a neglectful mother, then they're going to neglect the child anyway, whether they're getting the child support or not, because they're just a neglectful mother. But if you got some women out there that are providing a roof over the child's head, they're feeding the child, they're buying the child clothes. Raising a child is very expensive. They say to raise a child from birth to the age of 18, it costs $250,000. Now, don't quote me on that, but I think it's around in the neighborhood of $250,000 to raise a child from birth to age of 18. It is very expensive. And if you got more than one child, okay, you multiply that. You do the math. It's very, very, very expensive to raise a child. And if you're a single mother, it's very, very, unless you have a very, very good paying job making $50,000 a year or more, you will need some type of assistance from the father or some type of food stamps, Medicaid, child care assistance, or something to help with that child. And like I said back when I did my other video about personal responsibility, every adult has to take responsibility for their actions. Two people lay there and they make a baby. Both people are responsible for taking care of that child. It's not just the woman's responsibility. I don't know where this mentality came from. I don't know. It must be this generation of men. There's quite a few of these generation of men that seems to have that mentality. That If a woman has a child by a man that she's not married to, it's solely her responsibility to support that child, and it's okay for that man to just walk away from it. Well, where'd you get that kind of thinking from? Is that being a real man? Is that being a man just walking away from the responsibility of taking care of that child? That's not being a real man. It's not being a man. I don't care what you say. It's not being a real man. You know, a real man takes care of his family. A real man supports his family. A real man takes care of his children that he makes. If you lay there and you make children with someone that you're not married to, that was your choice. You made the choice to do that. So now you got to man up and take responsibility. You know, I talked about my son in one of my other videos. When we found out about my granddaughter, I told him, I said, well, man, it's time for you to man up and take responsibility. She didn't lay there by herself. You laid there with her. So it's time for you to man up and take responsibility. And he was no longer with this young lady. And sure enough, he's paying child support. And he's a good dad. So I told both of my sons, I'm not raising no deadbeats. I'm not raising any deadbeats. And I told them that from a young age. I said, I'm not raising no deadbeats. You go out there and you make a baby, you're gonna take responsibility for it. You're not gonna walk away from my grandkids. I want to know my grandkids, all of them, however many there is, and you're not gonna walk away from them, because that's not the way I raised you. I raised both of my sons to take responsibility, and that's the way every parent needs to raise their children. I'm a firm believer in that. You take responsibility. You know, if you lay there with a woman and you knew that you wasn't married to her and you had unprotected sex with her and you got her pregnant, it is your responsibility whether you want to be with that woman or not, or whether you want to have a baby with her or not. Well, it happened. So now you got to man up and take responsibility. You know, everybody knows that, you know, sex can lead to babies. Everybody knows that. And if you don't know it, check your bub. Check your bub. But everybody knows that, you know. So I just think that's, you know. Let me know in the comment section. You know, I don't want to get any don't be disrespectful. It's, you know, men, I want your opinion. I don't understand why men feel have such a big problem with a woman getting child support from her children's father, because, you know, it's his responsibility to support those children. And if he's not supporting the children, are you willing to come in and help her support those kids? You know, I mean, I just think that you're supporting, when you believe that, then you're supporting a man not taking care of his responsibilities. And you're advocating child neglect, because it is a form of child neglect when you don't take care of your child. If a woman was to walk away from her child and not take care of it, people would be hollering child neglect, deadbeat all day long. So how come when the father walks away, he's not viewed in the same way? He is the parent of the child. He's the parent of the child just as well as the mother is. So when a father walks away, then it's neglect. It's child neglect. Because if you didn't want a baby by this woman, then why did you lay with her in the first place? Good question. If you comment in my comment section, please be respectful, because if you don't, I will just simply block you. I just don't understand it. Maybe you guys could shed some light on it. This is Sweet June 2010.